on the Lobo Sports Network. Lobo Basketball has been brought to you by New Mexico State Parks Boating and Safety. Be safe on the water. Lobos wear life jackets. PNM. Talk to us at pnm.com. Also brought to you by Route 66 Casino Hotel. Quality service and value. Get your kicks. This is the Lobo Postgame Show. Once again, Robert Portnoy.
Welcome into the Lobo Basketball Postgame Show live from Peoria, Illinois. We're about 2.5 hours south of Chicago. New Mexico has come to Bradley and won its third straight in the Mountain West Missouri Valley Challenge, 85-75 over the Bradley Braves. The Lobos, with this victory, improved to 4-1, and they dropped Bradley to 8-3 on the year. After an 11-0 start for Bradley, it was really New Mexico controlled from there, Hunter. How did they take control of this game?
Yeah, once they got their rhythm, I think kind of threw the Lobos off with their starting lineup. You had three freshmen just weren't ready. And, of course, Bradley took off an 11-0 run. And then once the Lobos kind of got the veteran players in, they were able to settle in. And the defense really got them back in the first half.
You know what I'm craving after today's win? Some fresh strawberries and raspberries dipped in chocolate and some New Mexican flavored candy from the Candy Lady. The Candy Lady offers the best candy in New Mexico. So to celebrate today's win, make sure you swing by the Candy Lady in Albuquerque's Old Town. They're home for almost 4 decades. They're also perfect when you're in the mood for that perfect treat or when you're in need of that perfect gift for all occasions. The Lobos and the Candy Lady have been New Mexico traditions for over 30 years. Lobos win it by the final score of 85-75 at Bradley. New Mexico now will practice here in Peoria tomorrow, Hunter.
Yeah.
Late morning. Yeah. Get a nice lunch here in Peoria, and then mid-afternoon make their way back up to Chicago. You'll be with them, and you're going to move with them from here to El Paso tomorrow, right? And then on to Las Cruces. And the Lobos have New Mexico State on a Tuesday night at the Pan Am Center. I'll be back in Albuquerque for a Monday night Lobo Talk show with Coach Bradley. The Lobo women's team today throttled New Mexico State at home, beat them badly inside Dreamstyle Arena, the pit. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. But this was a nice day for Lobo hoops.
Oh, yeah. There was some concern because they came into Bradley playing against a veteran team that plays a totally opposite style of the Lobos. And with this young team, how would they handle that? And I thought they came out defensively almost textbook how they practiced the last few days, and especially on the dribble handoffs and the switching and on the out and open court. And I think defensively is what brought them back in this game. They got up to a slow start. I'm not sure if it was because of the young guys who started, and almost certain it probably was, but we'll ask Coach Weir.
Yeah, we'll take a timeout. When we come back on the other side, we'll hear from Coach Weir. 85-75, the Lobos over Bradley. This is Lobo Basketball from Learfield. We're back on the Lobo Basketball postgame show inside Carver Arena at Bradley University. New Mexico wins the final game of the 2018 Mountain West Missouri Valley Challenge. Final score, New Mexico 85, Bradley 75. We welcome in Lobo head coach Paul Weir. Coach Weir, congratulations on a really nice road win. You start the year 2-0 on the road. You think back to last year, you waited until January to get your first road win. How about 2 out of 2 to start this year?
Yeah, no, really good win for us. I actually, if you look at the quality of the opponent of the teams we've played since I've been here, this might be the best win we've had. I don't know if we've beat a top 100 team on the road in the last year and a half or whatever it's been. So an enormous win for us on a lot of levels, not only to come in and beat a good basketball team, but to do it with the youth we have on December the 1st is really, really encouraging. I mean, I know the start was what the start was, but, to look back on a game and realize you start 3 freshmen on the road on December the 1st and play the kids that we're playing playing and come out with a win like this, it speaks to a lot of different things going on in our program that I'm really excited about.
Coach, you started 3 freshmen. Were you concerned about that slow start and how you got off? I think it was like 11-0 run.
Yeah. They made shots early, and, Kevin Mackey, who, coached at Cleveland State and did a lot of this pressure, every time he said his assistants always used to joke with him, we want them, let's let them score early so they think they can score against the press, and then eventually you'll get them. And it was almost like those shots early were good because they were taking quicker shots, and that was what we wanted. We wanted them to shoot quick. We wanted them to take those shots. I think they might have made their first 4 out of 5 from 3, and then I think the rest of the game, they ended up 7 for 20, so you're going 2 for whatever that is the rest of the way. So the way we play fit perfectly into it. They were a slower team, 299 in tempo. We thought going into the game, if they turned it into a grind-out, smash-mouth type of game like we said in the pregame, that was going to be in their favor. And if we could turn it into an up-and-down, frantic kind of game, it would be in our favor. Not that we're great at playing that way yet, but we're getting better playing that way. And fortunately, we were able to get the game at the tempo that we wanted.
I said this to Hunter, and we talked about it during the game, that it's almost like you're teasing them. In other words, they're so unaccustomed to getting open looks like that in early offense, the way that they normally play, that it's probably exciting. They see wide open rim, they feel comfortable at the three-point line, and yet that's exactly where you want them to be because they're shooting in the first 6, 8, 10 seconds of the shot clock.
Yeah, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish. And if you look at the first 4 games of our season, we weren't able to do this. We were playing much more traditional 5-on-5, your ball, my ball kind of a game. And we spent a lot of, you were in film session today, Rob, and we showed last year's team. That's what we showed before we played today. We didn't show much of Bradley. We showed how hard we ran on offense, how much we pressured on defense. And it wasn't a film session to tell our guys, you suck, last year's team was the greatest. It was like, hey, this is what we're still working towards. We've got to get into this style and embracing it. And today, I told the guys after the game, I thought for about 25 minutes, it was exactly how we wanted. The 5 on the front, the 10 or so on the back, I don't know. But we had enough of it in the middle to build enough of a lead. We withstood kind of the front and the back end.
Yeah, it seemed like the second, at least your first substitutions came in, and they really turned it around defensively.
Again, though, I think it was the same shot. They just weren't going. They made some. They had some threes early. They got in a rhythm. They were going. Obviously, we had some kids out there. They missed some assignments. When those 3 came off the court, it was just pat on the butt, pat on the butt, pat on the butt. Yeah. It's 3 freshmen. Right. They just started on the road. Hey, man, just this was amazing for them, for their own growth to go through something like that. I'm ecstatic to win a game of this magnitude on December the 1st with 7 freshmen and sophomores it speaks to a lot of things. Our leadership, our culture, a lot of things we've been doing, and it shows up in a game like this, and I'm really, really happy about that.
Coach, I was looking at some stats, and one thing that kind of jumped out that was surprising to me is that Jackson played as many minutes as he played, really only took 3 shots, and are you concerned that he's not getting the looks offensively?
It's hard because, we go into games and we just take what they give us. We don't go into a game saying we're going through Hunter all night long and Hunter's going to be our guy and we're going to run this and then we're going to run Rob. We go into a game saying, look, guys, we're just going to run. We're going to move it. We're going to share the basketball. We're going to play the right way. Tonight could be Hunter's night. It could be Rob's night. It could be Paul's night. We don't exactly know. It's turned into, so far this year, a lot of Mathis, a lot of Manigault. It's turned into different guys at times. Vance, I think, tonight just couldn't, unfortunately, kind of get loose for much. They did a really good job on him. I thought he looked a little lethargic. He was a little bit of that way in shoot-around today, and we've just got to get his energy level going where he's constantly in a, mode of movement as opposed to a little bit slower.
What do you think about getting him closer to the rim? Because he seems like he's out on the perimeter so far, almost out of the...
Potentially. He's such a good shooter that, it opens up things for other guys because you have to respect his shooting ability. McQuatch is able to take that and attack with it. Kareem had some drives. Corey had some drives. For whatever reason, Vance just didn't have the burst tonight to really get by guys. But going forward, you're right. I mean, Vance is obviously a really good player. Offensively, I'm not saying we need to get stops, but offensively so far this year, to put up 85 points on the road against a top 50 defense.
You were able to find points other places.
Exactly.
I just thought,
No. I think that's a great point, and we talk about it all the time. Like, can we move stuff around to get Vance a touch here, Vance a touch there? And it's like, do we really want to mess with this right now? Do we really want to start tinkering with, an offense that's kind of clicking pretty good? So for us right now, we're spending a lot more time on our defense and our rebounding, and I'm really glad that that's starting to get a little bit better. I think, in particular, our rebounding's kind of improved as well. So as long as we can continue to grow those and our offense can keep organically growing in its own way, hopefully we'll become a better basketball team.
Coach Weir, I almost jumped out of my chair a couple of times today because I did see what you were talking about earlier today happen, and I'm going to use a single example because it's something that you've mentioned so many times since you arrived at UNM, is the rim run. And there was a point tonight where not only did Corey Manigault make the rim run that you're asking for, but he didn't get the ball, and then he did exactly the second piece of it as he went down low and he pinned his guy almost under the basket. He had 2 feet in the paint, and he got a feed for an easy post touch and a lay-in. And it was like, those are the 2 points, the 2 biggest points that you talked about in your transition offense, and he wasn't the only one who did that tonight.
No, you're right. I told all the guys today, I mean, this last year's team played with a tremendous passion and energy through January, February, and March, and they really bought in. But the guys we brought in, Corey Manigault, Keith McGee, Kareem Ezzedine, they're brought in for this. They were brought in to play this way. So our personnel actually matches it better than last year's personnel. Now we just need to match or exceed that team's energy and enthusiasm and willingness to go out and play this way. And that's not all just a mental thing. It's the physical training. It's doing it every day and realizing coach isn't really playing around. This is what we do and this is how we do it. And there's a learning process that goes into that with all these new guys. So hopefully we'll continue to grow. I wish this was just this constant upward trajectory, but it's not. There's going to be peaks and valleys along the way. We just have to stay with what we believe in, keep doing our core stuff, and hopefully our team continues to grow.
Coach, the team looked like they took care of the basketball in the first half. Only had 5 turnovers.
Yep.
Second half had 12 turnovers.
I thought their zone bothered us.
Okay.
I really did. I thought their zone bothered us down the stretch for 2 reasons. And we kept coming into these timeouts going, stop looking at the score, because, you're up, let's say 13, 15 on the road, and you're starting to think, and you get off the attack, and then now you're turning it over because you're not looking to score. You're looking to pass, or you're looking to whatever. And I thought we did that. Unfortunately, that meant now we were going to go start throwing the ball all over the place down the stretch because they were going out trying to do probably too much. Yeah. So, that's where we need some leadership on the floor, probably steadiness, time and score. When are we attacking? When are we bringing it out? But to get through it and get a win and take these lessons is great for us.
So not a big concern, but it's something you can get better at.
I'll be honest with you, our highest turnover percentage right now is coming out of zone offense. So it came against Iona, showed up against Iona, it showed up against here.
Gotcha.
We've got to become a better zone offensive team. We don't practice it much. We don't do it much. So we've got to find a way to spend more time on that. They play zone, I think, 11% of their possessions. So we practiced a little bit of of zone, but probably not enough. But, hey, when you get up 15 on the road, defenses are going to start doing some stuff. So, that's something we have to work on as well.
Let's go back to Corey Manigal's teaching moment last weekend, and you said a great week of preparation for him and the buy-in you were looking for, and he was terrific again tonight.
He was. I think we worked really hard this week. We ran as much as we've ever run. We practiced as hard as we ever practiced. We're going to go right back to the practice court tomorrow. I don't know any other way. I don't have magic bullets. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not even the greatest coach. All I really know is for us to just work hard and be the best we can be, and that's what we did all week. And not only was it Corey's moment to grow, I think a lot of guys made some steps tonight. Keith struggled a little late with some turnovers, but I thought he made some steps tonight. Like I thought Kareem Ezzedine looks like he's starting to maybe start to come around a little bit. Like we're making progress, and the only way I know how to do that is to coach and teach every day. I don't have any magic recipes.
You mentioned Keith McGee. If there was a single basket that I would pick out among all of them tonight that was as critical as any other and maybe the most important when you guys were struggling to score and day had closed, he had a step-back three on the wing late up against the shot clock that seemed to quell the momentum. I thought not only the courage but the confidence and then the execution. That was a huge shot.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad. We've had some possessions this year with guards and the ball in their hand and they don't even see the clock. So I'm glad he actually looked up. Just to actually get a shot on the rim is progress for us. But I'm happy for him. I was in his room last night, just talking to him for a while, just sitting in his hotel room, and these guys are getting it. I didn't know if it was going to exactly show up tonight and this was going to be good, but we're just doing a lot of things under the hood right now that are very positive. You guys were on the bus last night. They're singing on the bus. You know what I mean? And, I don't know where this is starting to come from, but I like just a little bit of the connectedness that we're starting to form as a group. It's powerful, and we just have to find a way to build on it going forward.
These kinds of trips where you're out on the road for 5 days, they can help that, can't they?
They're good. We did this personality testing before the year, and everyone has their own personalities, and we have a lot of a outgoing personality type. It's called an I personality in the disc, and I'm not an I. I don't have an I in anything that we do. I'm totally different. But the guy who did it all just said, Coach, I know it's out of your comfort level, but you have a lot of these. You need to embrace that a little bit and have a little more fun and do a little more stuff. And that's why they're singing on the bus last night. And I'm thinking, it's maddening, but you know what? Let's let them sing on the bus a little bit. You know what I mean?
I got to ask
Coach, you're going to learn a few new songs.
Yeah, seriously.
I got to ask you about the pregame moment then earlier today what was the challenge with Dane Kuiper and the blind left-handed free throw?
Well, everybody has to make, every game day, every day, two teams, one at either end. The winning team has to make 10 in a row. So we go round and round and round till someone makes 10 in a row. That always closes our shoot around. And it looked like Dame was supposed to be next to shoot, and his team was at 8. And then Anthony snuck in front of him to shoot 2. So the team at the other end was freaking out, going, Dane, it's your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn. Dame's like, look, I really isn't. Me and Tone just happened to be talking, and it was Tone's turn. So Tone made his 2 free throws. The other team had to do push-ups for losing. So we all came back in, and Dane said, I'll tell you what, I'll go back and make 2 left-handed with my eyes closed. And I said, Dane, no way. You know what I mean? No way. And at the end of our shoot-arounds, I always give him, we call it recess. I give him 3 minutes of recess. You can do whatever you want. And I went down there and said, Dane, let's see if you can make 2 left-handed free throws with your eyes closed in 3 minutes. The sucker made it in about a minute. He took about 5 or 6 shots, and he sat there with his left hand and his eyes closed and made 2 free throws. So
he made
that's
the first one.
Personality testing I'm supposed to do more of. So I'm trying to embrace it and see where it takes us.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, the next thing that this trip takes you on is a road to El Paso and then to Las Cruces and rematch with the Aggies.
Man, this is to just even start this trip the way we did. The travel's going to be better. The food's going to taste better. Everything's going to be better. Going into a game now, obviously against a good team, we're going to dial into them for the next, whatever it is, 72 hours, and go give it our best shot.
Thanks for spending so much time with us.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you very much.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our guest. We're back after this timeout. Lobos win 85-75 at Bradley. Lobo basketball from Learfield. 85-75 is the final. New Mexico beats Bradley here at Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois. The Lobos had 2 Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing slam dunks tonight. That means $20 at $10 per dunk to All Face. All Face serves over 2,500 kids and their families every year. They teach them how to prevent abuse. They guide them as they recover from it. Help us give children back their childhood. Learn more by visiting allface.org. The Lobos win it 85-75 over Bradley. It's time to select our State Farm Insurance assist of the game when teammates help each other out. Great plays happen like this. Hodgson across the timeline with a left-hand dribble. He lobs it for Koch, and he can't get it. It was too high. Loose ball grabbed by Malowacz. Fires it ahead to Kuiper, and Kuiper rips with a right hand in transition.
I think that was New Mexico's first fast break point.
Lobos lead at 38-32. Gotta love that. The Lobos grabbing that defensive rebound, Hunter, and a quick outlet pass and a right-hand tomahawk for Kuiper. That is your State Farm Insurance assist of the game.
Yeah, that was their first fast break bucket, too, and where New Mexico's trying to get better at transition buckets. Dane slammed one home.
Malowacz found him in the break, and the Lobos give you the State Farm Insurance assist of the game. There were plenty of those tonight that we could have chosen from. The Lobos had 15 assists on 26 field goal makes tonight. That is your State Farm Insurance assist of the game. We pause back after this timeout. 85-75. Lobos win it over Bradley. Lobo basketball from Learfield.
Lobos victorious 85-75, the final. New Mexico wins at Bradley. Another true road victory for the Lobos. Welcome into the post-game call-in show as we take over, getting ready to wrap it up as well. The broadcast from Peoria, Illinois, New Mexico. Their second true road win of the season. A lot to break down from this contest. The Lobos hitting the road, the first of 3. Of course, New Mexico State coming up next, and then Bradley, a trip to California. So 3 games in 3 different time zones over the next week. No technical difficulties for the Lobos in that second half. JJ Buck with you. Robert Portnoy, Hunter Green in Peoria, Illinois, had the call of tonight's game. The Lobos this evening, another slow start, but there's a lot to break down, especially earlier this week talking with Coach Weir. And for the Lobos, it was being true to their style. And for New Mexico, we have a lot to break down. We'll get to that. We'll throw it back to Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green in Peoria, Illinois.
Thanks, JJ. Apologies for the brief technical issue, and we're just about set to wrap it up here. We were ready for our P&M Reliable Player of the Game. There was no doubt who it was for tonight at an 85-75 win over the Bradley Braves here in the Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois. It's none other than Lobo shooting guard Anthony Mathis. Mathis with 9 to shoot. He'll step back off the dribble, pull a 3 and got it. His 6th of the first half. Lobos 41, Bradley 32. How about that for a finish to the first half? Anthony Mathis was 6 for 9 from deep in the first half. It's so much fun to watch a shooter get hot like that.
Oh, it is. And, we talked about, could he keep up that pace in the second half? And, of course, Bradley had an answer for him. They kind of slowed him down in the second half. But, I don't want to not mention the play of Dane Kuiper. I mean, he's huge. First half, he had 4 points. Second half, 11 points. Huge points in the second half. Where the Lobos needed some scoring, he stepped in the second half.
His only 2 3-point attempts of the second half he made, and both of them were clutch when New Mexico was struggling to score.
Yep, ball reversals by Mathis on one of them in a transition, long 3. Yeah.
Anthony Mathis, your PNM Reliable Player of the Game. He finished with a game-high 23 points, 7 of 14 shooting from three-point range, and 2 free throws. The PNM Reliable Player of the Game. PNM delivers reliable energy to you 24/7, adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy, working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. They are committed community partners 24/7. Talk to us at pnm.com, or you can manage your account and learn how to save money on your electric bill. PNM Reliable Player of the Game, Anthony Mathis. Okay, that's going to put a ribbon on this one. We'll give you Mathis's numbers. How about Manigault, 18 points. Terrific night for Corey. Corey was 4 of 9 from the field and 10 of 11 from the foul line, with 11 rebounds for another double-double. Corey's free throw shooting. Explain to the fans how valuable it is to have a big that can shoot free throws like that. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, and they put him there. Right, they put him there 11 times. So no, Corey, that's huge. When your big can knock down free throws like that, you know, it's almost taken for granted that your guards, the guys are handling the ball out in the front court, in the back court, are good free throw shooters. But to have your bigs like Corey, Manigault knocked down 10 of 11, that's huge.
So impressive. Lobos got the 15 points from Dane Kuiper that you mentioned, Hunter. 6 of 10 field, 2 of 5 distance, 1 of 1 at the foul line. And the Lobos did some damage on the offensive glass tonight. Yeah. They out-rebounded them 13-11 on the offensive glass.
They did, and part of that was early on. They were not shooting the ball well, and, of course, getting their own putbacks. But, yeah, they did, and that's an area Coach has emphasized that they really need to improve on.
Big thank you to my broadcast producer and engineer tonight, Shelly Kofsky. She's going to be at the ready to man the controls for your Lobo basketball post-game call-in show, the overtime call-in show from the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino with J.J. Buck here coming up in just a moment in Albuquerque. You've already heard from J.J. Thanks for the help tonight, J.J. My broadcast partner is Hunter Green. Hunter, this was awesome, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime you get a win in a cold place like Peoria, Illinois.
Huge. And I'll see you on Tuesday in Cruces. Las Cruces is the next stop for
Aggies.
The Lobos. Yeah, the Aggies and the Lobos. New Mexico, little skid against the Aggies right now, trying to end that slide after losing at home to them a short while ago, 98-94. It's New Mexico State in the Pan Am Center. That is this coming trip for the Lobos. It'll be Tuesday, December 4th, 7 p.m. Our airtime 6:30 with the Lobo basketball pregame show for that one. All right. I'm Robert Portland. That's going to do it for us for tonight. Safe travels to Cruces, my friend, Mr. Green.
Yeah, thank you, man. You too.
Thank you very much. I will see you there. J.J. Buck up next. The final score for the final time tonight, the Lobos improved to 4-1. New Mexico 85, Bradley 75. Good night, everyone. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball from Learfield.